Greetings. My name is Thomas Clark Durand. Exactly, the head of Union Pacific. We will go down in history as the ones who created the Transcontinental Railroad. And that, my friend, is your job as chief engineer. I can't supervise everything here on site right now, as I have to meet with some politicians in Washington. First, you should familiarize yourself with the basic controls. Move the camera in all directions.
Hello everyone. This is the first video for Railway Empire. And this is the first campaign level, Great Plains, set in 1863. And it's a great tutorial and introduction to the game. This guy's going to help us. And what we're going to do now is follow his instructions of how to navigate. Left, right, backwards,
Now test
forwards.
the camera's zoom function.
Zoom in using the scroll wheel.
You can also rotate the camera. Give it a try.
Hold down the scroll wheel.
Very
and
good.
Rotate.
Now you know the basic controls. Your first task is to create a rail connection between Omaha and Norfolk to the northwest. Very good. Now the two stations need to be connected with tracks. To do this, switch to track construction mode. Now plan the tracks between the stations in Norfolk and Omaha. To do this, select the two station tracks one after the other. Then pay for your track planning.
For example, if you come out of track building mode, which is this, if there were trains they would be running, into track building mode, it remembers what you'd done before. It's really convenient.
Now create your first train so that you can set up a rail line between your stations.
Okay, pretty simple.
Initially, your train only exists on paper. It's not much use to you without a locomotive. Additionally, each train needs a rail line that passes through all the stations it should stop at. Now join your two stations to the rail line by selecting them one after the other. That's enough for your first rail line. Now confirm it so it becomes active. Very good. Now you can see the journey your train will take. If there is something to transport, the train will automatically take it. However, as each locomotive needs water, sand, and lubricant on its journey, you have to place a supply tower along the route.
Okay, pretty self-explanatory. He's suggesting we do it here.
Very good. Your train is now traveling between Omaha and Norfolk. But you can do even more. Each city needs goods from the surrounding area. For example, every city needs corn. Look, there is a corn farm near Omaha.
OMG.
Until now, the corn has made it to the city in the conventional way, but we want to change that. Now construct a rural train station in the marked location with a corn farm within its radius.
So, a farm station is a station. Might as well go for a small train station because you're not going to need a lot of in and out here. And I just point one end of the station.
Now connect the new
towards its
rural
eventual
train station to
destination.
the station in Omaha. And now things are getting tricky as we have to deal with a logistical problem. As Norfolk should also enjoy fresh corn, there will soon be two trains traveling on the stretch of track between Omaha and Norfolk. Of course, this will then result in a conflict. Since trains cannot travel through each other, you'll need a side track between Omaha and Norfolk. This consists of one parallel track and two signals. First, create a side track. It needs to be at least long enough for a fully loaded train.
Okay, I like to make my track a little bit longer. I go to the full length that I can. It's suggesting that we run a parallel track between these 2 points. I just like taking it a little bit further than that. So our starting point is the existing track, and we are going to get to a point where it's parallel. And then all the way round. That's going to create kind of a one-way system. The trains will move on the existing track from Omaha to Norfolk, but from Norfolk to Omaha they'll now use this second track. Thanks
Excellent.
to Signal.
However, your trains won't necessarily use the sidetrack, as they generally always take the shortest route. For this reason, you also have to specify the direction of travel on each parallel track. Now open Building Construction mode and set up a signal in the highlighted area pointing in the direction of the switch. Trains will then be able to stop here when the single track is in use.
Okay, so we've placed it, but it wants to be pointing towards the switch, which is this. So to change direction is literally hover over it.
Now make sure that the track can only be traveled in one direction. For this purpose, set the signal so that trains coming from the opposite direction cannot pass.
And you do that with these instructions down here. Change signal type is what we're looking for, and we are looking for it to become.
Now do the same on the parallel track so that each parallel track has a different direction. Place a second signal in the highlighted area and block the track to trains coming from the opposite direction. Very good. I'm sure that it wasn't at all easy. You will soon come to realize that signals are an important aid in guaranteeing smooth rail operations. You will find more information and tips under Hints and Tips,
which are over here. Now I've gone and done it the wrong way around, so literally I'm just
now assemble a new train and give it a locomotive and a rail line. Your new rail line should run via Omaha to Norfolk so that the people of Norfolk can be supplied with corn.
While we're in signal mode, it's worth remembering that signals all the way along. At this point in time we've got 3 sections of track, so in theory we could have 3 trains, but it would be quite stifled. So running signals all the way along is a good idea, and we do that by being in signal mode, hovering over the track that you would like, and the control key will give it signals all the way along automatically. And there. This now means that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10, 12, maybe even more sections of track, allowing up to 12 trains, potentially. Not that we would at this stage, but it's there. Okay, so, out of this, and he'd like us to get a train from the corn farm to Omaha and on to Norfolk. For me, might as well stop back at Omaha just in case there's something at Norfolk that Omaha wants.
Excellent. The corn farm will automatically make use of your train because the cities along your rail line are demanding corn. Conventional transportation is much more costly for the farm. We are still missing something. Locomotives wear out over time and need to be...
Didn't mean that to stop. Just wondered why it was flashing. Lots of information in here. Give it a good read.
Regularly maintained so they can perform their duties more reliably. For this purpose, there needs to be at least one maintenance building on each rail line where locomotives can be serviced if necessary. Construct such a maintenance building at your station in Omaha now. To do this, select the station itself and expand the station with this building.
Construct maintenance building. One maintenance building per route. So, both of the trains that we've set up are both going to be serviced by this maintenance yard now.
Right.
Because they both
We've
run
been lollygagging for long
through
enough.
Omaha.
I need to return to Washington for further miserable negotiations with our representatives of the people. I've written a task list for you. Take a look at it and complete the tasks within the given time period. Do not disappoint me.
Okay, and these are the tasks. Quite simple, really. North Platte being the next village, Cheyenne being the one after that. So, build a line. And these are the interesting bits. So Cheyenne is just above Denver, and near Denver is a cattle yard. So we're going to run a line from the cattle yard to Denver, from Denver to Cheyenne, thus accomplishing both of these things. Connect 150,000 people to your rail network. Very easy. All you do is carry on connecting towns, cities, until you're at that level. That will be quite easy to achieve. 30,000 in Cheyenne. This tutorial tells you to move wheat and logs from close to Cheyenne to Cheyenne. This brings it up to 30,000 quite quickly. Connect Rock Springs, which is your last destination. For me, do that as early as possible, because this 100 passengers to from Cheyenne to Rock Springs is quite difficult to achieve. There aren't that many passengers in Cheyenne, so you want it done as soon as possible. That will be the last thing that we're waiting for. Okay, back to the game. So like I say, all of this is set up, and it's literally a case now of moving from Norfolk to the next town. It's such a short tutorial, you might as well just use small train stations. Doesn't have that much effect. See, we're going to get a connection bonus when we connect this, and it's literally a station, and really easy. And there's the track. 0%, really cheap. Buy it.
Good. That's finished. You're making progress.
You see that we will have achieved the next thing on the list. Now, it's worth remembering that signals are really important, and so again, with the control button, just place all the signals it suggests. Getting in and out of stations can be a little bit problematic, so make sure that there are signals at the side of stations. Just makes things a lot easier. And on to Cheyenne with another small train station. Good tip here is to keep it as far from the city as possible, because you are eventually going to be linking these two resources to here. You'll have already used this exit for the station, so the best option is to go from this end of the station up there, and I've just realised that I may have messed up, because it's a better idea to start with Cheyenne as a bigger station with 2 tracks, and that should be enough. We'll also give this a maintenance yard. No, we won't, because there is the money to be considered. Let's just go slowly and link these two. We should get a nice cash bonus. for this too, which will allow us to set up that maintenance yard. Okay, and at this stage, if you remember...
Those politicians in Washington get on one's nerves. But now let's get back to your tasks. As you can see, Cheyenne is still a little town hoping for an upswing caused by the railroad connection, but a city will only attract new inhabitants if it is supplied with enough goods. Cities receive basic goods from the surrounding area. If you construct stations in the right places and establish rail lines, your trains will be used to transport goods and you will make profits for transportation. But for this, you have to know what goods a city actually needs. You can find out any city's current needs. Now select Cheyenne and view the city's demand for goods.
Okay, as I say, I've done this before. It now wants me to click on Cyan so that you can see what resources it needs. I'm going to do that in a few seconds. Just wanted to talk about maintenance sheds for a second. There's a maintenance shed at Omaha, therefore anything between these three stations will be serviced. The train moving between this, North Platte and Norfolk will not be serviced. So, let's put a maintenance yard at North Platte. For that journey. Now, I would recommend a service yard at Cheyenne 2 because it's a pretty big through route. There's an argument there that we've put in too many maintenance yards. It's the only way to do it really on this occasion. So, did I put in a supply tower? No. Let's get a train going between those two stations. Now it wants me to go to Cheyenne and move to the next part of the tutorial, but I am going to take it upon myself to get this line to Rock Springs in ASAP, because that will allow the people from Cheyenne to be moved there. It just takes ages. And we're going to use the bottom track. If we use the top one, remember we're going to use this top entrance for the coal and wheat, the logs and wheat up here. So use the bottom platform. And 968,000. Whoa! It's because of all these tunnels. Tunnel, 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 and through there. Can't happen. So we're just going to bring this through this gully. And we're already down to 321. And we're going to do even better than that when we've moved this tunnel to here. 134, far more affordable.
Now you've managed to cross the Great Plains.
Again,
A masterpiece.
Tower and loco. Okay, now we'll go and listen to what he says. So we're clicking Cheyenne, and we're looking at the demand for
As you can
goods.
see, Cheyenne currently needs only a handful of goods, and you can only deliver goods that are in demand. As the city grows, it will demand further goods. At the moment, you can supply grain and wood. Both of these goods are available to the north of Cheyenne.
Okay.
Connect Cheyenne to a timber business and a wheat farm, and establish a new rail line that connects them both to Cheyenne.
Okay, so we're going to be using the top exit of the platform. And might as well do them both at the same time. Okay, so the first track will go from the wheat farm we probably could get rid of that bridge, but let's not bother. We're okay for money at the moment. And I like to click it next to an existing track for two reasons. It's cheaper to run new routes next to existing tracks, but also one supply tower can good for both routes. Now we are down on our money, so we really ought to let it run and amass some, but ultimately we've got to set up a new train and we're just waiting for some money. When we've done that, we will eventually be moving down to Denver and this cattle yard to complete this part of the task. So, we have some money. Hopefully some more as soon as this train gets to Xi'an. And there we go. And that will be for the wheat. And another one as soon as we can afford it. Just going to fast forward it a little bit. There we go. Add a locomotive.
Well done. The city will soon grow. You can see how well it is being supplied at any time in the city dialogue. Basically, a city will grow once its demands are sufficiently met. I think you have learned enough. Complete the rest of your tasks. But you certainly won't have any success with so little capital. I might have not planned on this being a loss-making business, but I'll help you out this one last time.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, again. Small train station. And you might as well do this cattle resource as well. And you can now see how the benefit of using this slightly larger station helps us. Every train comes in on a different... Sorry. Most trains come in on a separate line, which is very beneficial. Okay, supply towers. Halfway down each route. Trains. The first one, the between the cattle farm and Denver, and the second one between Denver and Cheyenne. Now you might remember that Cheyenne has a maintenance yard, but the train between Denver and the cattle farm will not pass a maintenance yard. So again, we've got to put one in Denver. Simples. And we've got to wait for the money. Later on we will expand some of these stations for a couple of reasons. First one being that they unload and load a lot quicker, but it's going to get to a point where both these trains that are using this station are going to want to be at the station at the same time, and that can't happen. We've got 2 tracks, 2 platforms, you can. Okay, so we've pretty much done everything we can. The stopping point is going to be the Cheyenne to Rock Springs 100 passengers, and that's broke down randomly. I'm going to put another service tower in over here. And then what we're also going to do is double up this track as we did with between Norfolk and Omaha. But we need about $130,000 to be able to do it. So we will just wait.
Well done. The citizens of Denver are impressed by the railroad.
Nearly completed the meet to Cheyenne too. Okay, we've got enough money now. So back to the rails. Okay, and as before, we're going to do the one direction signals. And maximum signals. It's worth mentioning the supply tower is almost the same as a signal as far as it breaking the track into sections, which is why signals can't be placed all the way along with the control button, because that's already broke the track. Okay, and now what we want to do is replicate the train that goes between Rock Springs and Cheyenne. And you might notice that it hasn't picked up any passengers at Cheyenne, and that's probably because Cheyenne doesn't have any passengers. So first thing to do is to upgrade the station. This will allow things to move faster. It will also allow us to break these two guys apart, allowing more things to get to Cheyenne quicker. So at the drop of 100 grand, these come up quite randomly. On this level I wouldn't worry, wouldn't bother buying them. However, I'll let you do the research on whether you want to in the future. Okay, so Cheyenne we want to grow, so the first thing I'm going to do is make it bigger. That then allows us to change the track a little. So let's put that train out of the way. And so instead of this Rock Springs track coming in on platform 2, we're going to make it come into platform 4 by deleting that track. And while it's deleted, because it can get a little bit tight, I'm just going to run these around here. We're not going to utilise that one, but I'm a little bit OCD and I like. That was a bit silly. And as soon as you reconnect the track, it's as if you hadn't made any changes. That train will carry on going, no problem, sorts himself out. Okay, and so what we're going to do now is make it so that these two guys can use different platforms instead of the same one, and I'm sure you can work out how we're going to do that. By coming out of the station, and you see what I've done now is I've made sure that there's enough room for this track when it comes to putting it in. I have been bitten before. So we've deleted the track all the way up to this supply tower. We can reconnect it just as easy. As I say, the trains will just start running again as if no changes had been made. And we've got things coming into Cheyenne a little quicker. We might as well move this too, and I'm going to do that. Just delete the track. It's easier sometimes. Again, just for my I do like it when everything's nice and neat. And this exit can go down to Denver. And it means Cheyenne's going to be able to get things a lot better, easier.
Cheyenne will flourish thanks to you. And for each mile of track that we lay, we receive 10 square miles of land. The politicians have no idea of the value of the assets they're giving away, but that stays between us.
Okay, in an effort to get Cheyenne bigger, just looking for some wheat. Okay, it's getting wheat. I'll stop being silly. Corn. Corn. And it can get corn. Can't get corn. Okay. I am toying with the idea now of Okay, so let's connect Cheyenne to... Just gonna let this train get out of the way. And what we'll do is we'll free up that first platform. By connecting this second platform to... You tell me, I'll tell you. Can't remember. Norfolk. And... leaving this top platform for... the corn that I have just found. Okay, 1 million. So the first thing to do to reduce the price of a route is, well, first thing to do is make sure it's not red. And then make adjustments. Bridges are particularly expensive, so if you see a big bridge, you could reduce it. That's enough. That's quite a long route, so I'm going to put a couple of supply towers in here. Didn't close that one, did I? Okay. And a train between Stevens Manor and Cheyenne. Now Cheyenne should grow even quicker.
Ah, yes, one more thing. Your company has also a research department to help you unlock new locomotives and other innovations. Open the research dialog to find out more about it. Here you will find the advances that can be achieved in the current era. Advances from previous eras are usually already active, but what the future holds, we do not know. For each advance, you require innovation points, which you get automatically each month, and which can be increased in various ways. Now, take a look around here, and then unlock an innovation of your choosing. How about a new locomotive?
Okay, it's such a short tutorial, there's no point getting anything else. You might as well just go for the loco. But before we disappear, innovation points total is the amount of points you have. This is what you get every month. I don't know much about it, but apparently you can increase the amount per month by building something like a university in one of your towns. I'll let you explore that yourself, but it took me a while to work that out. But this number can be increased. Google it, or use a different search engine. Anyway, so, research centre. Double-clicking really quick buys it automatically.
My opponents say I'm lining my own pockets. These are, of course, hideous lies. And look at it this way. With the profits I'm making, I can invest much more. Jobs, jobs, jobs.
So,
I have to wrangle with a lot of competitors, but if one person really gets on my nerves, then it's that Beatrix von Pomp. What? You haven't encountered her yet? Be glad. She takes everyone to the cleaners.
okay, I was just going to say...
Excellent.
Double-clicking
Cheyenne is becoming a major railroad hub, and the credit is all ours.
Well,
Progress is enormous. The Far West is no longer so far away anymore.
In spite of all the
Okay. 1 year, 2 months. That's my best time. But we only did 7 of the 8 tasks. How did that happen? What didn't we achieve? If we're going to carry on playing, we should be able to find out. Because these are optional tasks, this is the first time this has happened. What I've done is I've concentrated on the Cheyenne to Rock Springs passengers and overlooked this one. And so my score isn't as good as it has been in the past, but it's been quicker. So, swings and roundabouts. Thanks guys, thanks for watching. I'll come back with another one soon. Thank you.